Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Hey, Jill, congratulations on your son getting into the college of his dreams and with a full scholarship, too.
Yes, we are so proud of him.
You know, I have to be honest. I'm a bit worried about our daughter getting into college. It's so competitive out there, and I feel overwhelmed with where to start. I completely understand. Listen, I felt the same way, and then I met Dr. Gina of Education Prep Centers. She put a plan in place that helped our son stand out in the admissions process and that gave us a peace of mind for how to create a financial roadmap for his future.
Wow, that's great. Sounds like I need to give her a call.
Yes, she definitely helped our son find the perfect college, meet all his deadlines, and help us feel less anxious about the whole process. You need to reach out to her. Just check out educationprepcenters.com and set up a complimentary assessment with Dr. Gina. You'll be so glad you did. Education Prep Centers, college admissions made easy.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Friday morning. I see Dana Gingerich.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dana. Good morning, Brandy.
Good morning.
Foster. Who's that? Good morning, Foster. Guys, welcome to the Jobfather Jobseeker Community Radio. So I am the Jobfather. I'm Foster. I'm the oldest one on the screen. Oh my God. So we are here, guys, to empower job seekers to know the best things that are available in the market, what, tools and things you guys can use in order to make a better decision toward getting your job. So we are live here on JoCo Community Radio, guys. We thank Tiffany Carlin and the crew at JoCo for allowing us to be on the radio. And, this is streaming radio. We're streaming all across the world, all across the globe. And, of course, we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And you know what? We're also live on Twitter. So all you Twitter folks out there, hey, Twitter people, Live long and
Hey,
prosper.
Twitter peeps.
So before we get started, we always start off with a word of prayer. And guys, if you would bow with me, let's go to the Lord and tell him we need a job, but we want the right job this time instead of just what we're picking. Okay, Father, we thank you for another day. And we're all out here looking for a job. Teach us to listen to your voice, because we get a lot of voices in our head and we get scared and nervous and all that stuff. But teach us to listen to your voice, that we may follow your instructions and be obedient to what you have for us. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Let's see who's with us. Dana, who you see? I see Joel. Oh, there's my friend Joel Fry.
Yeah.
And Tiffany
George.
is with us. There's George Whitmire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And our hype lady, Meg Rose Quiterio. Hey, Meg Rose. Anyway, guys, here is the deal today. We're blessed to have Brandy Schade with us. We're going to talk about strengths today. Now, what I've found about strengths, and Brandy might agree with me, she may not, because, you know, we brought Brandy because she's the expert and Foster just talks about it, but Brandy's the expert. Okay, so we know, we feel, we have had experiences in our own life. We may have lived 30, 40, 50, 60 years. There are some 70-year-old people that are listening to the show right now. I know some of you guys, but I'm not going to bust you out like that. I'm not going to tell you. And so, at any rate, guys, when you take strengths assessments, you will find out what you kind of already know. But Brandy is really good with teaching us how to, how to apply that in our jobs, in our lives, and all sorts of stuff like that. So I want to introduce you guys to Brandy Schade, Schade. And Brandy, you guys, I would suggest very strongly, if you are in job transition, even if you're not in job transition, you might be a company that's listening to us today, and we got a lot of them. You guys connect with Brandy. Okay, Brandy, I'm introducing you. Tell us about strength. How do you, what is this whole strength thing? How do we apply this stuff?
Thank you so much for bringing me on the show, Foster. I'm really happy to be here with all of you this Friday. And I was introduced to strengths, almost 10 years ago now. And when we say strengths, for everyone that's listening in, we're talking about the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment. Gallup created this assessment over 40 years ago. And it's solid. Most assessments that you get, they just give you 4 categories or 7 categories that you might, fall into on some level. But Gallup Clifton Strengths actually has 34 categories.
Wow.
Which, we label as strengths that we're basically measuring how much of each one of those that you have, and that allows us to figure out what's dominant for you. And so when we start to understand how your neural pathways are working, or AKA your strengths, and what is, most dominant for you and what's least dominant, we can really start saying, okay, so you're telling me if I put you in this environment over here where the requirement is A, B, and C, and you have A, B, and C to offer that environment, then it's a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for the environment, and it's a win-win for the person. And it really is some ingredients, a recipe for success.
Dana, have you ever taken Strengthfinder's assessment?
I have. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's great. It is a phenomenal tool. I think it is great for not only individuals that are in career transition to understand where their natural strengths lie and how that could align with the type of roles they're pursuing, but I think it's good for any professional or individual to know where their strengths and weaknesses are. It will help you function effectively, make good decisions, and kind of surround yourself in the environments where you can be most successful.
Absolutely. When I found out what mine were, well, Brandy, I keep telling Brandy that I'm going to take it again because it's been about 10 years since I've taken it. I think probably I need to retake it and Brandy agrees with me, and I keep telling her I'm going to do it, and I never find the time to get it done. She probably rolls her eyes in her head when I say this now, but we're going to retake mine. I was a woo. What's a woo? Tell us what a woo is, Brandy, and how different is that? And how can we apply a woo? What can we do with being a woo? That was my number one.
Yeah, this is such a good question, because when I'm working with job seekers, we have to take a couple of steps. Number one, you got to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you cannot communicate that, and you cannot share that brand with other people. And so the first thing to do is to establish who you are, what you're about, where you really like to be. And then we have to establish whether you have the experience and skills to be exactly where you want to be, or we have to work on getting there and making the transition using your current set of skills and experience. The third thing we start looking at is, what is the demand in the market for what you want to do? Because if you're going after something where there's not a high demand and you're trying to make a high transition, that's not going to be easy. So there's several ways to be strategic about your next job and what we're positioning you for. And when we really understand someone's strengths, we can start to say, okay, here's our North Star. Let's make every single step that we take, every single job that we take, every single interview that we do, it's getting us closer to the North Star. So we may not nail it, immediately right on the next one, but let's keep the North Star in mind the entire time that we are making these decisions. Okay. So then once we have all that kind of figured out, then we got to go, okay, you're a woo. So how are you going to get this done? So a woo is someone who loves to win people over. They're a very social butterfly. They love to be out and about the crowds. They love to network. And so when you recommend how they go about those steps, we could say, look, you like being social, so let's get you to conferences. Let's get you to job networking groups. Let's have you be extremely social to make those connections. Because the biggest mistake people are making in their jobs, I cannot tell you how many times I've heard this, where they say, I've been applying, and no one's responding. Okay, look, if it's not working, you've just made that obvious, right? It's not working. What you're doing is not working. And most people are spending 90% of their time looking for a job and applying for a job, when what they should be doing is, getting the resume ready, doing the LinkedIn, looking for the job, applying for the job. That all has to be done. But the most important thing is that you connect with others. The only thing in this world that's going to get you a job is a person. So you have to be connecting with people. Now, if you're very extroverted, that's easy. You're probably already doing a lot of business development. But if you're not extroverted, that becomes a little bit more difficult, but not impossible in today's world because of all of our digital tools. There's a lot of ways to be an introvert and get connected with people that could potentially get you a job. And there's so many things on LinkedIn I'd love to share with you guys today about how to do that. So for example, if you go to LinkedIn in the search bar and you search #hiring, you're going to find so many posts of people that are proactively reaching out to the LinkedIn network to talk to say, I'm looking for somebody and I want to talk to you. And if you do #hiring space #electrical engineer, now you find all the posts of people that are reaching out for hiring an electrical engineer. And you literally can post right to them. Hey, I'm very interested in this opportunity. I've applied for it. I'd really love to talk to you. And then there's all these ways to go out there and say, okay, let me find recruiters at the companies I want to work for. Let me find recruiters in the industries that I want to work for. And connecting with those people over LinkedIn and sending them a nice message once they connect back saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do and I'd love to talk to you, and just creating, those connections. The other little trick I'll give you guys is I want you to go search in the search bar just in quotes, we are hiring. The people that have that on their LinkedIn profile are those wonderfully nice, welcoming, open people that are actually wanting to talk to you. And so you want to search for those people and connect with them so that you guys can have those conversations, which is going to lead you to making the connection with actual humans, which is actually what's going to get you your next position.
That is such
That's what's going to get it
treasure
done.
to
That's
share
right.
with
And
the network. That is great.
Yes.
Dana and I, well, I'm an extrovert. I used to not be an extrovert. And when I
Really?
got woo, it didn't surprise me that my top strength was woo, but it's not very popular, is it, Brandy?
I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's something like 12%-ish. So it's kind of like, it's kind of leaning on not popular. The really not popular ones are single digits. So, for example, discipline strength is really rare, and to have command is really rare, or self-assurance, which means confidence. Those are the exceptionally rare ones. Woo is somewhere around 12%, if I remember correctly. And what I mean, guys, is it's a 12% chance that someone has that as a top 5 strength, and that's across 27 million people that have taken the Gallup assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Meg Rose Quiterio is our hype lady for our show, and she's a woo as well. So I'm gonna explain to everybody listening what a hype lady is, or a hype person is. That is a person that supports the show in each and every way that they can, share it to the whole network, and they see a lot of value in the show, and they tell everybody. And Meg Rose, we are proud to have you with us. And you know what? We're both woos, me and you, so we're dangerous. Dana, you're really truly an introvert. Is that the conversation that you and I had? Are you an introvert?
No, I am not an introvert. Not even close.
Well, I'm thinking about somebody else then.
Yeah, I am full-fledged extrovert.
I used to be completely introverted. I don't know what happened to me, but Brandy could probably tell. How that happens and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Brandy, what's your number one? What's your top number one?
Yeah, I'm actually around 80% introverted.
Wow.
Yes, I have 2 strengths that help me be extroverted. Yeah, so I have number 1, achiever, which is very introverted. Actually, it just achieves. It goes out there and drives things over the finish line and gets things done.
Yeah.
But my number 2 is learner, which is the love to learn. And when I'm learning, I'm introverted. But when I'm teaching or consulting, I become extroverted in that strength.
That's awesome.
My 3rd one is relator, which is the love for being one-on-one with people and working with them in a one-on-one situation. Again, I become more extroverted in a one-on-one situation. Yeah. But the rest of it's introverted. I'm consistent and I'm disciplined and I'm an intellect and I'm deliberative. Those are all very highly introverted strengths. So I do spend a lot of time by myself with my cat reading a book.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It makes me very intelligent.
Yep. And if you need another cat, I have a kitten that needs a home.
Oh, we might just have to talk about that. I've been considering
Yeah, I want you guys to buddy up anyway. We're gonna all get together, and we go out and eat. But you know what we have here in Texas? We go out and we eat barbecue.
Barbecue. It's so
It doesn't
yummy.
have to be barbecue. We just all need to get together.
Let's do it.
I enjoy. Brandy, what do you think? I'm not going to even put what I think out there, but I'm going to smile when I say it. But do you think it adds good value to put your top 5 strengths on your resume?
I do think it adds value. Now, there's 3 reasons for that. So 1, you're going to go, but what if the person doesn't know what this is? That is a wonderful conversational opportunity to explain to them what these strengths are, that you took this assessment. It's what it says about you. You agree with it. You're aligned with it. And it's an opportunity to teach the other person about Gallup, Clifton strengths. If they do know about it, they're going to know immediately what those are, and they're going to be able to connect with you around those. The only thing that you may not want to do that for is because if someone has a bias, if someone has a bias about those strengths, then they're going to think certain things about you, and they're going to, maybe not like you or not want you to come work for them because they have this bias around a particular strength. I, however, think that if that's the kind of person they are, I don't want to work for them anyway.
Yeah, probably not the best job.
Yeah, I think it's a very narrow point of view to have one bad experience with one person who had one strength and then taint the entire population over it. I think that's a pretty naive thing to do. Yeah,
absolutely. Probably not the best company or leader that you'd want to work under.
Yeah, just somebody who is not mature enough yet, because we've all been there, done that, but maybe they're not quite at the right maturity level to understand that you're not that person that they had an interaction with. So to me, I'm all about putting the strengths everywhere.
Yeah. So in your time of doing strength finders and promoting and supporting this amazing tool, what are some of the biggest benefits you've seen for people that have taken this assessment and come out with what their true strengths are in the report that goes behind it?
So here's the deal. When people take the assessment, a lot of time they're not quite sure what to do with it, which is why they reach out.
Yep.
We actually have to talk about what to do with it. I've created a tool called Strengthology. You guys can actually access the tool www.strengthology.co. And you just register in there. It's got a small subscription fee, and you put your strengths in there to get lots of additional insights. So as I walk people through this tool, we talk about, for example, what is most important to you? What are your values? We talk about how are we going to brand you that way so that everything people see, it screams who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
And then as we get people to understand who they are, what they're about, we create that North Star. And when you have an overall purpose in your life, then everything starts to make sense. Every action, every interaction, everything you're doing leads to that North Star, which makes a whole lot more sense than just sort of aimlessly trying things out and experimenting and not really know where you're going. And then as you really establish, okay, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm trying to do, and we can laser focus that, then we can go after the right stuff, the right people, the right companies, the right jobs. And I'm telling you, if someone out there is looking for you and you've got it out there that this is who I am, and you guys get together, there's no failing that moment. It's like, we're looking for you. This is what you bring. It's all aligned. You're able to communicate it. And it's exciting that energy is really exciting for everybody. And then once you get into that role, then it's all about, okay, how do I start performing at a very high level in this role, which means I got to get skilled up. I've got to understand how I take my natural innate strengths and apply them to this job effectively. And once I get people performing at that level, usually where they go is, okay, now I'm interested in interacting with others effectively. And it's sort of that collaboration piece. And that's where it becomes fascinating to learn about everybody else's strengths around you and how your strengths are interacting with theirs. And as people start to nail that collaboration piece, then they feel confident and comfortable stepping up into a leadership role. And as they step up into a leadership role, they now know how to perform. They know how to get others performing. They know how to interact really, really well, but they still don't know how to lead effectively with their strengths. So then we address that and we say, okay, how do you lead effectively with your strengths? And as they become a leader and they work their way up through all the different leadership levels, now they have a true ability to impact the entire culture. And so then there again is another discussion of how do we help the entire organization take on a strengths-based approach so that your entire workforce is engaged. So it's an amazing process from all the way from step one of just knowing yourself, getting yourself in the right environment with the right job, with the right manager, with the right people doing the right thing, performing, collaborating, leading, and eventually impacting a lot of people's lives.
All of that right. What about the left? No, I'm kidding.
I'll be honest though, Brandy, this is such good information for people to hear because I think, we're all kind of given strengths and then we all have weaknesses as humans, but understanding them better, knowing how to build on what you're already strong with, and then knowing how to build up where our weaknesses lie can really set us up for success, whether it be in our work life, whether it be in our personal life. And, we do, if you think about it, spend probably, over the majority of our time each week with our coworkers and our leaders and understanding our strengths and how to align from an emotional intelligence standpoint through that with those people can make such a big difference in our experience with our positions and in the satisfaction we get from our work life.
The first time I saw a resume with a candidate's top 5 strengths on it, I didn't know what that was. I thought it was cool. Okay, they're going to let me know what their strengths are. I think that's cool. So I immediately, it was years ago, and this was before I took my first assessment. So I ran to Doug Anderson, who is at South Lake Focus Group, our expert.
Great
on-
guy.
Yeah, awesome guy. And then I met Brandy later on. I'm like, oh my God, I need to retake this thing, but I want Brandy.
I got to meet Brandy. We need to go
I
get.
know. I want Brandy's assessment.
Barbecue because we only have about 5 minutes till we go to commercial break, and I have so many more questions. You know, I took the test with someone who was new and training on it, but I haven't got the results back yet. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm a woo. I really wouldn't.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you're woo either. Yeah.
I mean, I am very outgoing. I'm that person that can walk into a room of strangers and make friends with everybody within 30 minutes, you know.
Yeah. Brandy, before we run out of time, where do we get this? How do we go and take this?
Yeah, where do we get this?
Where do we go get it? Oh, there go my hands. Oh my God.
Yeah. Foster hands.
Where do we get the information? Where do we get the little book? Where do we take this test? How do you do it?
Yeah, I recommend going to Gallup, Gallup's website, www.gallup.com, and then going to the store. And there's several different assessments that y'all can take, but I recommend taking the one that says 34 Clifton strengths assessments. You get all 34 strengths from 1 to 34.
That's nice.
And I'd love to just hit on something you said, Dana, because you talked about strengths and weaknesses, and I think what everybody needs to understand on the call is that there are two types of weaknesses. One that actually comes from our strengths, and the other one that comes from the things that we're just not thinking about or we're blind to because our brain just doesn't work that way.
Right.
So when you get to Gallup Clifton strengths from 1 to 34, you're going to notice down on the bottom, there's your number 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. And those are the ones we just don't think about. We don't have really large neural pathways in our brains on those particular functions. So we're just overlooking them, which is good to know, right? What we overlook, what we need to leverage other people's talents with, and what we need to, hire third parties to do for us. So that's really informative. But the other the other thing I want to point out is that if you are being yourself and you're flexing your strengths in the wrong environment for them, it's going to look like a weakness. And it's really important to decipher those two things. When it's not a strength because you're just not naturally built that way, but when it is actually a strength and you're using it, but people aren't valuing it because it's not the right environment to be using that strength in. And that's the piece that I like to really help people get fixed so that they have continued success.
I think that's so important and just extremely critical for people to hear, because I think all of us can think of times where we've been in environments, especially professionally, but sometimes in your personal life, where your strengths weren't appreciated.
Yeah.
And then you question your strengths. You question the core of who you are versus being celebrated and encouraged for those strengths and the good things that make you you.
Exactly.
Corporations, I know you guys are listening. Brandy is a consultant with this stuff. You guys might want to consider bringing her in and helping you either develop a team or tell you what your team's got or all of that kind of stuff. Assess yourself. I think there's a song.
Assess yourself.
Dana, we got to put together a song. Assess yourself.
Assess yourself.
Oh my God, I'm sliding away here.
Sliding away. Well, it's all right. We're about 1 minute till our break. This has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, this is tremendous. Yeah, Brandy, guys, Brandy comes out to many of our networking groups, and she talks about this stuff. She's got a little bit more time to go into detail, and it's really fun. And you guys, she is very engaging. And companies, your employees would have a really good time in there with Brandy. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Well,
talk about building a strong, healthy group, strong, healthy culture.
Yeah.
Brandy is the way to go.
Help us understand why we get along.
That's right. There's a good reason. There's a good
Brandy,
reason.
before we go, is there something else you'd like to throw at us before we run out of time?
Oh, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on this show today and letting me just share just a few insights with all of you about how to use your strengths to be at your best every single day and get yourself positioned in a way that's meaningful to you personally. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Everybody point down. They had her information at the bottom.
Yeah, all of our information, guys, link in with us. We're here to help. That's what we do. I almost wore my Hope shirt today. Help one person every day.
I love that.
I know that is the motto of the network. That's what we do. It doesn't matter where you are. You know, these things that we talk about are all across the United States. Okay,
Absolutely.
I hear the music. We're going to go. We'll be back with Laurie Tortorello. We're going to meet
All
Laurie.
right, we'll see Laurie in about 5 minutes. Woo!
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feathershare Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson in Cleburne, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Well, we are back, guys. You are tuned in to the Jobfather, Jobseeker Community Radio. We're here to help y'all get a job. And I am going to read you guys real quick. We're going to read our public service announcement. Joco Community Radio. I want you guys to know about Joco. They have served for years. They have served the community very well. So Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County. Now, we know that Johnson County, it teams up against Tarrant County. We're all right there together. And we're live 365 on TuneIn Radio Network. To listen to the radio, go to tuneinjoco.com. That's TUNEINJOCO.com, guys. Download the free app, and we're streaming live simultaneously on YouTube. We want to ask you guys, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Dana and I were talking about that last night.
Yes, we were.
And LinkedIn, Tiffany Carlin, Carlen, guys. You want to link in with Tiffany Carlin. She's the brains behind this whole outfit here. I love Tiffany. So all of our shows can also be found on any of your favorite podcast platforms, you know, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and Spreaker. Check out our lineup and more on JocoCommunityRadio.com. Guys, let me tell you again. It's Joco, J-O-C-O, communityradio.com, all one word, .com right there. And you can check out everything about Joco and all the shows. There are a number of really, really interesting shows on Joco. And thanks for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Patriot Claims. So making your insurance work better for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep for Patriot Claims, guys, and that's my buddy Nona Reed, Nona Reed. Y'all can spell Reed, can't you? Reed. I'll help you.
Let's hope. You know what? It could be REID. So let's be friendly here.
Nona Reed, you guys, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. Call her. She's at 844-TEX.HAIL. You know, we got hail here in Texas, HAIL. So that's 844-839-4245. If you need that, if you lose that number, you can always contact me and get it. Let me tell you again, 844-839-4245. Okay, we're back. We've got the fabulous communications expert, Laurie Tortorello. She's the only Tortorello that I know.
Good morning.
And Laurie's
Good
right
morning.
here with us. Guys, Laurie is a leader. She has been in communications for years and years. She's worked in a number of different environments. She's been in DOD. What I like about it is she's got a media component to her job that she'll probably tell us a little bit about. So, hey, Laurie, I would say, yeah, it's still morning. Okay, good morning, Laurie.
Good morning. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you here.
We're excited to have you. Welcome.
Absolutely. And Dana, listen very closely to what Laurie's saying, because you and I, a little bit later on, probably going to run across something we want to call Laurie and talk to her about.
Okay, sounds good.
So Laurie is a communications leader. Guys, Laurie, what is a communications leader inside of corporations?
A communications leader is a creative problem solver who researches and tries to find best practices and unique ways to communicate the messages and the brand of the company out to key stakeholders. And this, of course, gets the word out and helps improve the bottom line at these companies.
Awesome. And you've certainly been sitting in that chair for a while. And, sometimes you guys would probably see, or maybe have seen in the past, you've probably seen Laurie probably on TV talking about a company or something. So, Laurie, tell us what you enjoy. How did you get into communications? And then apparently you like something because you've been there for more than 20 years.
Yeah, share about it.
What is it that you like about the communications world in corporate America?
Well, piggybacking on the conversation that started earlier in the show with the Strengthfinder assessment, my key strength, I'm a relator. I enjoy learning about what makes people tick, talking to people, really digging in and understanding. I have a very strong curiosity to learn and to grow through that learning. I appreciate learning about individuals and their strengths and how to leverage them. So communications really is a role that it touches every aspect of a company, and it's a way that you can understand the way a company operates. You learn about the business functions, as well as all the way down to the manufacturing areas and things like that. So really having that strong understanding of how a company works really makes it for a very strong communicator.
A lot of times you're the dotted line of communication from one department to the other, aren't you?
Exactly. Yes. And communicating those messages out, particularly in a crisis situation or in a situation where more information needs to be shared publicly to assuage the fears of people who might have some concerns that things are not going right or well. So it really is a good way to open up a relationship between the company and the community.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That totally makes sense.
In your tenure in the communication space, what types of roles have you primarily held?
I have held roles for every aspect, throughout every aspect of my career in the various industries that I've worked in. Primarily working on developing strategic communications plans, working closely with executives, prepping them for media engagements and for interaction with key stakeholders, whether they're customer groups or in some cases government Senate inquiry hearings and things
Oh,
like that.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Really helping to prepare, coming up with the messaging platform and asking executives and practicing all of those hard questions that when they're on the hot seat, what are they going to ask me about?
Yeah. Do you have a preference for public or private sector?
No, I don't really have a preference for it. I do enjoy working in the private sector and also with the government relations agencies as well.
Okay. Wow.
Well, that's good to hear. Laurie, you had a little bit of time in hospitality. It was a long time ago, didn't you?
I did. I worked for Marriott and had Marriott to grow and to learn and grow through more of a marketing communications strategy. So coming up with unique ways to find new prospects and uncover new areas where the business can grow. While I was in that particular space, it happened to be around 9/11, which, as you all know, that the travel industry and hospitality industry took a big hit back then. So trying to find unique ways to grow that business back was really critical.
I can imagine. That was a very tough time economically.
Yeah. That's really interesting to me because me and Dana's, one of our favorite people is my daughter, Hannah. And Hannah works for Marriott, and she's just been promoted. Well, just a few months ago, she was promoted to ambassador. So she's having fun putting together business schemes and all kind of things for people all over the world.
That's great.
And she of course, she shares with Daddy what's going on. She says, Dad, I'm much more professional than you are. And I agreed with her. But
that's just from experience, right?
A little bit of, excuse me, guys.
No, you're okay.
With me,
I want to get you some water.
I know I'm going to get some. With me having a little insight into the hospitality, I got excited when I saw that Laurie had been in hospitality, but especially with Marriott. Ooh, Marriott's a big one now, Dana. Golly, I think they buy everybody.
Yeah, they are buying quite a bit. They are one of the largest out there. Yeah. Very big competitor for a lot of large chains. So that is awesome. So what would you say, Laurie, in terms of next steps, what you're looking, where, what does that look like for you? What are you motivated to kind of step into?
I am currently seeking a position as a director of communications with a medium to large size company.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I'm looking for an atmosphere, a work environment where I can be a creative problem solver and benchmark best practices of what I've learned throughout my career, as well as what I'm seeing as I research and follow some of the top industries and see what they're doing from a communications aspect. The communications space is becoming quite, I'll say, noisy with all the various channels that we have to share messages.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's so true. How do you navigate that as a communications professional?
So, a lot of it is really trolling the internet, watching for different companies and looking for unique ways that companies are sharing their messages. I always say the best ideas come from ones that are already in place. So taking those and leveraging that idea, maybe putting a spin on it to make it unique for your own company is really a great way to figure out how to do that. And then benchmarking against what your competition's doing is always a great way to do that.
Yes,
what their mistakes are. Yeah, and learning from their mistakes too. Oh, well, we won't ever want to do that. So
everybody does it differently. Hey, Laurie, is there certain methodologies and all that sort of thing that you guys use and adapt in different situations, or do companies pretty much build their communications from what their leader says they need to build?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is a good question. As a strategic communications advisor, it's my job to help understand the business opportunity, understand the business goals, and then establish how that company will achieve those goals based on their business objectives through communications, and really trying to advise the top executives on the direction that they need to be heading from a comm standpoint.
Yeah.
Is
that
really
makes sense.
So my role is more of a trusted advisor rather than what I'll call an order taker. So really looking for ways that to work with executives to help them understand what those messages need to be, and watching what the environment is doing around them. That helps shape what that messaging is and what the strategy will be.
Boy, I bet it really does. Because if a company does a new acquisition, or if they're moving into a different line of business, in order to market that, I'm sure there's certain ways to do that, and there's certain things to stay away from. And I guess you would be the person to let everybody know, hey, this is why we need to get it done. Do you guys agree? All of that sort of thing. Wow, communications, guys. We're talking about communicating here.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. Most sound organizations see the value of and have a solid communications team. There's, especially in today's environment and in the temperature of our environment, it's so important for organizations to have that expertise that Laurie brings to the table. Just, Laurie, it's been really exciting listening to your passion and experience align as we've been talking. You brought a lot of good insight into your role, what you're looking for, what you've done. And I can see why it would be a benefit for any organization to have someone to your caliber as a part of their organization.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I am very passionate about what I do. I have very strong writing and presentation skills. And one of my other passions is also teaching and mentoring, helping others grow and really fine tune their public speaking, their executive presence. So that's really a huge part of what I love to do. Again, as a relator, this is something that I find it's my passion, and I'm excited to do it.
Years ago when I was working with Kimberly Clark, I met a lady named Sharon Larkin, and she offered the first insight for Foster into what a communications leader does in a company. And since I like to talk so much, when she was explaining it, when Laurie's been explaining to me what communications is, and we've got another buddy. We had David Magana on a couple of weeks ago. And Laurie and David know each other. And I was trying to sit there and listen to them talk and saying, okay, could I be a communications leader in a company? What are the dynamics of that? And to me, it's exciting because Dana and I are all about communications. In our jobs, that's all we do is communicate
all day. It's awesome. It's fun. I love it.
And honestly, in my opinion, this is my opinion, you guys, nobody died and made me king of opinions, right? Okay. So
oh my God.
Dana and I, as recruiters, a lot of times, the candidates that we talk to get impressed or de-impressed, or if that's a word, because unimpressed. What are the first people that they meet? Yeah, unimpressed. That's it. We're the first people that they meet. We represent that corporation. We represent the energy of the corporation. What we say is
the face
important,
of the
but
corporation.
Who we are. Getting back to Brandy and what we talked about first half of the show, who we are and who God made us is really important. And it will either attract that candidate to the company to want to dig a little bit deeper, or it will, I guess the other word, what's the other word that I could use? I'll either attract them or I'll run them away from there, right?
Yeah, push them away. Yeah,
push them away.
It's interesting. I think sometimes going back to strengths and then how that relates to our passion, I feel like at the first half, we really talked about finding your strengths. And then I think Laurie is a good example of someone who has not only knows her strengths, but has found a way to utilize them professionally, and that passion shows. And I think it's important for us as God's children to be true to our strengths and our passions and really find out, God gave us those skills for a reason. How can we use them to honor him, to fulfill our purpose and calling. And so when we have guests like Laurie on the show, it's so exciting to see individuals that, I mean, you light up, Laurie, when you're talking about it. I can tell that this is just something that is a God-given gift. It is something you're good at using. It's something that you've been able to live in your day in, day out. And that's great. Not everybody has had that opportunity, but maybe this show will encourage people, not only to hire an amazing candidate like Laurie, anybody be blessed to have her, but for people to see the benefits and understanding our strengths from the first half, and then how to apply them in every area of our life, and to also value and appreciate your strengths. Me being a talker, just like I am right now, I'll do the Foster thing and look real close to the screen. When I was in school, I got in trouble all the time for talking in class.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, and I found some of my old report cards, and the funny thing is my brother is very quiet, and I accidentally found his first, thought they were mine, and I saw these A's and E's for excellent behavior, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I found another report card, and it said, A's and B's, N for talks too much. Like I was below satisfactory for my behavior in class. And I found that report card. I got so mad, and I went to my parents and I slammed it down. And I said, why didn't y'all make me behave? And they just started laughing at me like, oh, you have no idea what it was like to deal with you as a child. But you know what? For the things I got in trouble for, they really were my strengths. And it's a shame, that sometimes that happens and makes you doubt who you are. But, it just goes to show how it's important to value our strengths and then figure out how to use them as a strength so they don't weakness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To see Laurie, and I met Laurie, and Laurie is representative. I wouldn't be repelled. Thank you, Joelle Fry keeps me in line. She said the word I was trying to think of was repel a while ago. I couldn't even think of that. I'm in the middle of my sentence. I'm going in a direction. I can't even think of the word. Ooh, maybe that gray hair that y'all are looking at. Well, I had some hair at one time, I swear. But I would not be repelling. I would be wanting to know more about that.
Absolutely.
A person in your area of expertise is a lady that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. Wonderful lady. I think, let's see, she used to be on Channel 8, and she is at the airport right now. And because she is a reporter, she's in public enemy. Oh my God, public eye all the time. Cynthia, I'm talking about you. And Cynthia is a wonderful representative of the airport. And when Cynthia starts talking, you guys, you want to know what's going on. You definitely want to fly out of there.
Yeah.
But you want to know more about what's going on there. And that is, I think, is a gift. Each and every one of us have a gift that was given to us by God, if not 2 or 3 or 4 in Dana's case. Then, how you apply those, if you're given an opportunity to apply those gifts, is what Brandy is talking about. The epicenter of what Brandy brought on the first part of the show today. Yeah.
I think I might have to redo my Strengthfinders because I would really like. It's been a while since I did it, and I didn't end up getting the results.
Dana,
back.
let's do it and see what Brandy says that about you and I, because Dana and I really we're fun. We're like best friends, and I can understand Dana. We talk deep about life and all this stuff. We both know we're crazy, but we accept that about it.
A fly on the wall in our conversations is entertained for a year at a hand. So
Desmond says she's an octopus on skates over here. I love it.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love to retake it because I have a feeling that the need to talk a lot isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah. So, Laurie, when certain, I would say maybe a C-level executive in a company or someone that is going to represent the company or talk about something new or be the subject matter expert for what that company, maybe they have a service, maybe they're producing a new item or something like that. Do you sit, and I don't want to say train those people, but do you sit and talk to those individuals about what would be cool to say and what wouldn't probably be something that they would want to go into?
Certainly. So having a firm understanding about the topic that that any executive is going to be speaking publicly about or in front of a group of stakeholders. Really important for the communicator to have an understanding of what that subject is as well. And looking at the potential pitfalls or maybe the high points that we really need to focus on. And some of that is looking at what's been happening in the media, looking at how certain media outlets are covering that company.
Yeah.
Really knowing and having an understanding of the background of either the reporter that you're going to have the interview with, or having an idea of who's in the audience at a symposium, so that you have an understanding of the direction you're going to head with your engagement. So doing all of that and sitting down with the executive, there is a way, we work on a strategic plan together on how we're going to get the messages out that we would like to get out, and look at the goal. What is the goal of our communication engagement, and trying to best map out the way we're going to get there through the messaging, through the approach, and then also through responses to those hard questions.
I'm going to assume that your answer is going to be yes on this, but I'd rather hear it from you rather than me saying it's going to be yes. But marketing departments, what you just said reminded me of marketing departments and what's going on, how we're talking about what it is that we do to attract, not repel. I like that word repel, Joelle Fry. Do you find yourself working with marketing departments very intimately?
Marketing and communications really need to work hand in hand. The messaging that you have your business development team going out with externally needs to be in lockstep with what you're trying to communicate in any environment. So you don't want your sales team or your business development team to be talking about things that maybe those are sensitive areas for your company, or that's really not the approach that they need to go on. So working hand in hand with marketing and communications is always the way to go, because you want to make sure that everybody is on the same page communicating that message.
Yeah, definitely. Boy, definitely for some of the outlays that we have in corporate America. So, Laurie, what's best for you to contact you? And I'd like for you to spell your last name. I can do it, but I'd rather you do it because you got more experience with it than I do. And guys, her first name is not Laurie, it's Laurie, L-A-R-I-E.
L-A-U.
L-A-U. See, that's exactly why I wanted you to spell the last name. I already messed up the first one.
Okay. Yes, it's Laurie, L-A-U-R-I-E, Tortorello, T-O-R-T, and that's T like Thomas, O-R-E-L-L-O. So T-O-R-T-O-R-E-L-L-O. And reaching out to me through LinkedIn. I also provided in our private chat here my email address. My email and my phone number are on my LinkedIn page. So that's a really great way to find me.
Yeah, that's a good point, Laurie. I'm glad you brought that up. Job seekers, I really think, and Dana will either shake her head or up to the affirmative, to the negative about this. But, here's the deal. You're looking for a job. You've got a set of skills that I find, or Dana finds as a recruiter, maybe one of our hiring managers. We get excited because we've got pressure on us. And since I was the head of recruiting for 3 gigantic companies globally, when we have an incentive, when we've got something that we've got to do, I got my bosses looking at me, and I have to move expeditiously. Can you believe that Foster had a word that big?
Ooh, word of the day.
Ooh, I get a quarter. And, I find Laurie Tortorello, right? And I want to talk to Laurie. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to send Laurie an email. But you know what? Because of the competition for us recruiters out there, we want to get to Laurie before everybody else gets to Laurie and be able to, tell Laurie our little story and see if we can get her into our company. So you know what? If you put your phone number after you send that thing, call her. Uh-oh, I hear music. That means that
I hear music.
Companies, you guys need to hire Laurie and let her run your communications department.
Yes.
All I got to say about that.
You'd be smart to do it.
Absolutely. We will see you guys next week at the same time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Clifton, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got loafing dog. They got the Neely dog, the Mary Sunshine dog, the Casey dog, and the Shirley dog. Why, they even got the Pacer dog, the Brooklyn dog, and the Jim dog. Can't forget the Shane dog, or the Joy dog, and the Monty dog. I like that food. The Nakia dog and the Braxton dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley